Good afternoon, everyone. We are doing a Business Builders team meeting. I'm very excited to have some new people with us and a cross-line friend, Barbara Clark, who's on the Peter No Power team. And we're very excited to move into the second half of a wonderful, exciting year where we have all these new products coming out, etc. And what we want to do is maybe set some goals individually and as a group. And I'm hoping to provide you with some new tools that I did send out by email. Did everybody print those out? Do you have them with you? It's okay if you didn't, but I actually did not print out the checklist. Oh, here's Asamina. Let me let her in.
Oh, good. I just sent out, yes, your meme to everybody. I texted too.
Well, why can't I let her in? Oh, here we go. The admit button followed her. It was lagging. So, I recently ranked up to executive director, which has been a dream for a number of years because it's the next stepping stone to getting to the senior presidential director level. So, a lot of that was because of the work that people on the team have done to build their business. When they build their business, it builds my business. And I want to make myself very available now that I've reached a level where I can relax a little bit in some sense. I've still got lots of work to do, but I want to reach back out and help my people that got me here grow their businesses into a bigger, better situation financially and also people wise. As you know, this business is all about recruiting, training, developing, mentoring. The bigger the business, the people wise that you build, the more lives we can touch with this wonderful healing technology. And I do want to say, I'm with me today is Dr. Bruno Mazzali. He's a member of my team, has been for a number of years, and he's somebody very special for us to know and to have on our team because he was very powerful in the longevity organization, which is a major, probably the largest MLM company selling supplements and vitamins and minerals around the world. And Bruno assisted the president, the founder of that company, in taking that company to the UN and taking that company into several African nations. Bruno paved the way with his relationships on Embassy Row here in Washington, D.C., for that company to go global. And I'm very happy to have him here with me today. He and I are going to be strategizing after this meeting about his personal business, his LifeWave business, how he can take it to the next level. And he's a major networker. We call him the networking king. And what he wants to do is, since he helped other people build their business in that context, he was a consultant, not really a distributor of longevity, but he consulted with the founder, the scientist, the medical doctor that, created that organization. But now he wants to build his own network marketing tribe, which is a good word to use with somebody from Tanzania. And I just like him to say hi and welcome everybody.
Hello, everybody. Anyway, I'm so excited. It's my upline, my absolutely the great leader is she mentioned about me. I have experience about anything to do with nutrition. As we know, in the biblical perspective, your body have anybody's body have ability to heal if you give whatever your bodies need. The whole experience I have from Dr. Joe Wallach, all the time he say that animals they have the same issue like human being. Okay, so once you give everything you need for your body, it should be no big deal. And I realized through the experience working with him for over 10 plus years, I realized so many people asking me, oh, I need to do research. And he always say, the funeral is more expensive. Which research are you looking for? So we are always having issues for the people to understand what this is about. So because I have experience, sometimes the people they have to hear two, three times before they move their move. You move whatever the situation is. But the bottom of the line, don't give up. Just keep doing it. Keep talking. So I built a bigger network here in DMV area. And at the end of the day, I said, well, I've been building everybody's business as a social butterfly in DMV. What is for me? And I realized very easy for me to do it. If I pick up the call, I call my leader right here, the queen of Social Butterfly 2.0. I call Mama Kimberly. And they always be having this great conversation and come and talk about the business and all this kind of stuff. And also I realize most of the people they're having issues. It's expensive. But I say, yeah, but you're going to nails, do spa and massage. So people they need to be educated, and the most likely sharing information with the churches, your family member. Out of 10, if you one person, you make a lot of sense. So it seems to me this is your time to move on from your house to White House. There's in between life wave. How do we do it? This is what we're doing here. So I'm here to feel like this is our time, is our moment. It takes some time for the people to get it. I got it. So now I'm here to rumble and walk with all of you. And the only thing I can tell you, the reason why I'm flying like an eagle, because of her, Nancy, and all the people around me. That's what you need. You need the leadership. Look, I got my vitamins here in life. Come on now. So I'm here to tell you, I'm so excited. I'm a social butterfly. I'm originally from Tanzania. I've been in this game for over 10 years. I know what it takes. Sharing, sharing, sharing. Like when I was sitting here, I share information to my friends. I went to the iTouch, InTouched app, boom, like that. And I have a lot of testimony to the people who I give the patches. I go to the hospitals, go to the nursing home. Sometimes it's very hard to, give the people. I just put in the phones, put in the bed. They get, oh my God, this works. I done it many, many, many times. So what do we do from here? Is we're half of the year. What have you done? What have you accomplished? That's why I'm here today to strategize, to put all the strategy together with my business partner, my mama. I call King Mama. When I lost my house in Bethesda, she offered me a lot of stuff. The most important thing is she did my birthday right here. That's how it is. It's a building relationship. You don't need chickens. You don't need turkeys. You need a few ego. You don't need too many. You need one person in your organization. He's a family member, a church member. It doesn't matter. The pastor preaching the gospel. The end of the day, they say, this is what Jesus told me. You know how they do sometimes? God spoke to me, told me about, that's how we communication, outreaching, talk to people. It doesn't matter. If you get to know, miss next opportunity. So I'm here to tell you this. Let's do this together. Let's work together. This is great opportunities. I know the new conversation is coming in. I can't wait to make $1 million in this company. I'm here to tell you, my name is Dr. Bruno Mazzala. I'm signing off from here, DMV, Reston, Virginia. Oh.
Thank you, Dr. Bruno. While Dr. Bruno was introducing himself, we had a couple people join us, Susan Grizzard and Ramona Carmichael, all the way from Colorado. So thank you everyone for joining today. I'm going to just real briefly or quickly review what I said last week about why we're introducing this new tool. It's optional, as everything about this business. It's up to you what you implement, what you embrace. But this tool is something that even if it's not for you, somebody you sponsor, somebody you enroll may like this tool. So I'm glad that you're here to learn about it. I want to also share that I had a conversation with a gal in my BNI group. She happens to be a very young person who's now got 16 insurance agents under her umbrella in just 2 years. And they're making bank. They are having fun. I said, what would you do if you wanted to help your team quadruple their business in the next, let's say, before September 15th? Because that's my personal goal. It's been my goal since the beginning of this year. It was on my New Year's resolutions, is to quadruple my LifeWave business. She said we would encourage them to get out the door twice a week to a networking opportunity, a large event where they can meet and mingle with new people. She said, number two, I would have them get involved in social media at some level. She said, and join lots of social media groups like Facebook. They have a lot of groups that are affinity groups, church groups, fascinating woman groups, love and marriage groups, bridge club groups, whatever floats your boat. She would want her insurance agents out there joining lots of Facebook groups and interacting with new people that way. And when people make a conversation, oh, my brother just fell and hurt his leg. that's a chance for you to DM that person and say, hey, I heard about your brother's leg. I'm so sorry, but I actually have something that might be helpful to you. Would you mind if I gave you my phone number and you call me and I'll share it with you? So that's the second thing. The third thing was that she does a weekly business building activities tracker. And weekly, she meets with each of her 16 members of her team. They go over the tracker, what activities they did the last week, and they set goals for the new week. If there was some weakness areas, they set goals in those weakness areas to try to up the numbers. So based on that conversation, I designed our own LifeWave business activities tracker. And I was very excited to hear Dr. Stacy alluding to it from stage on Saturday. She was talking about business building activities. I showed her this tracker. She liked it. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if maybe the whole team involved gets to know about this tracker soon. So let's just go over what it took me to do executive director. I've been in the business going on my fourth year. Number one, from the very beginning, I understood this is a huge business opportunity. I knew that I wanted to be a part of the next trillion-dollar industry and that LifeWave was below the ground floor. Nancy's and my first LifeWave convention, we were only among 500 people. Last convention, what was it? 2,000, 4,000. This year,
Or 3 to 4.
it might be closer to 10,000. We don't know, but the company is mushrooming. Every year, more and more people are getting committed to this business. And LifeWave is going into other market sectors. We're soon going to have the Cellergize, which is what Dr. Bruno's drinking today. I made him some when he came over. And we're soon going to have the water treatment system, late July, early August. These are literally other markets that we're going into. Then we're eventually going to have a food growing system. Think of the Tower Garden that the Juice Plus people sell. We're going to have something along that line, but better using light therapy, I'm sure. And then we're going to have an energy system that will power a household to help homes that want to get off the grid or to supplement their solar system or their windmill. They can add this LifeWave energy system. All of these things are going to be new vertical markets that you can choose to go into, or somebody on your team may choose to go into. You wouldn't have to necessarily sell the energy system, but what if you recruit a man in the solar industry space that wants to say, hey, after I put your solar in, I'm going to give you this LifeWave system to boost it, to be a turbocharger on it, to work on the days that it's not sunny. This will still be producing energy for you. He's going to be able to double his income with that. And then you're going to be able to make overrides on his sales, even if you never sell a single one. Isn't that exciting? So, you will not find any other business networking or otherwise with this kind of potential growth, simply because we're working with a genius scientist and an inventor who has totally vertically integrated his company, and we are selling his ideas. Excuse me, Lynn Sokolsky is going to join us. So, but what I want you to believe is believe in the company, but also believe that you bring strengths to this. I don't care how inadequate you feel initially, how much you feel you've got to learn. You know deep down inside that you have abilities, you have skills. How can you apply those skills in this context? Because you bring those new skills to the team. You might have skills that Bruno doesn't have, that I don't have, that you can offer to the team. So I think we're okay. Everybody's in. We've got 11 people now in the team. Hi, Lynn, you're joining. We just want to welcome you. We're going over some of the things that I think it's going to take you guys to get to your executive director status.
Well, I appreciate it, and I needed to hear what you just said because, yeah, I like you've been breaking stuff down yesterday at the fair. I was like, oh my God, look at all these materials. I mean, it's amazing, but yeah, so it's really encouraging to say like wherever we are, that's the right place to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And your new skills that you're offering up, they're going to share and enhance what others are doing. When you share your ideas, just like when I'm sharing my business tracker here this morning. Some of you are going to pick up on it and go, oh, this is a game changer for me. Others of you, it might leave you totally cold, and I'm totally cool with that. I just want you to know nothing is required, not even coming to the meetings. By the way, I tell Nancy all the time, if you have a business building opportunity, go do that. I don't want you warming a chair on my Zoom meeting if you can get around 600 new people or 30 new people, or if you get a chance to do a presentation at a bridge club, go play bridge for goodness sakes. We can always have a Zoom later. We can do a one-to-one to get you caught up. So, the other thing is, I really believe in dressing for success and dressing for the business you want to build. If you're into yoga and you want to wear your yoga pants to promote LifeWave because that's your tribe, that's cool. My background is corporate, executive, sales. I always read Dress for Success when I was in my 20s. That's the way I want to present myself and my LifeWave business to the world, because I view this as a multi-million-dollar opportunity and a global opportunity that Kimberly Harkey can have business in multiple countries. So I want to look the part of that corporate executive type person when I go out there. Other people want to wear scrubs. That's really entirely up to you. If you're a nurse and that's your comfort zone, that may be the way for you to dress for your success and for the vision you have of your company. So dress for the business you want to build. Always carry a LifeWave badge, have a spare one in your car. Yesterday, I forgot to wear the badge out the front door, but luckily I had a spare one in the car. And always wear your pin. This is your rank up pin. This is my senior director pin. I always try to have my pin because that shows that I've got prestige and status with the company. And those kind of subliminal messages are important. Plus, people look at my badge here and they say, are you in real estate? And that gives me a chance to tell them, no, I am in the health and wellness space. I'm in a health technology business. Oh, what's that about? It just is a conversation starter. The other thing is I always carry a large purse or a laptop bag that I can put a clipboard in. I don't go anywhere without a clipboard, and I learned that lesson the hard way. The one time a guy was ready to sign up, I did not have my clipboard. Guess what? I've called him at least a half a dozen times. I can't get him signed up, you guys. I missed a golden opportunity. And he runs a big company full of security guards that all have aches and pains. So tonight I'm going to buy a laptop case from a lady. It's a fancy Brahmin laptop case she's selling on nextdoor.com or Facebook Marketplace because my clipboard will fit in it. So I want an extra accessory that is going to be a business building tool. And guess what? That purse that I'm buying on the cheap because it's used is a LifeWave business write-off because it's part of my uniform. That's Kimberly's Success uniform. And we had a call last night with somebody in our business, and they were saying that they sponsored somebody by buying something off of Facebook Marketplace. They happened to mention LifeWave, and they sponsored somebody that way.
Oh.
So that's an example of getting active in social media. Buy little things off Facebook Marketplace that you need. Go to their home wearing your badge, wearing your business building outfit, having a brochure in your purse. If they say, what do you do? You know, or if they're on a walker, talk to them about what's going on with them and that you've got something that can help them. So, and that's an example of my next point, which is figure out ways to meet new people. At our first convention, we were in a suite with Dr. Stacy, her husband Brent, and he gave us the best building advice, business building advice. He said, Stacy and I always look for new groups to accept invitations from, new parties, new groups, spheres that we can get into, because we're on the hunt for people that need what we've got. And I thought that was so brilliant. They probably are a little bit of social butterfly, like Dr. Bruno suggests, going from pollinating field to pollinating field, looking for those flowers that they want to pluck and put into their organization or put into their client base. Get out of the house is the best way to meet new people. When I was in my little PR business, it was home-based, just like LifeWave. I accepted invitations to grand openings of car dealerships or restaurants, and I mingled with the people there, and I passed out business cards. None of those people ever hired me, but invariably within a month or two, somebody that met me at that grand opening or that business launch of a restaurant gave my card to a friend of theirs looking for a publicist. I had a gal say, I've just come out with a book and my husband's willing to hire me a publicist as a gift. So I was able to get her in the library journal. Every librarian in the country knew about her book because I had these cheapo business cards that I handed out. And that person didn't need a
Hey,
publicist,
Ruth.
but they thought what I did was unique and they wanted to share
Hey,
that with a friend.
I'm sorry. I've just been doing stuff. I'm actually on a Zoom. Can I call you like at 1 or would you be out?
Okay, I just muted her. Everybody mute yourselves if you don't mind. Um, so walk through every open door is something that I've had as a policy since the very beginning because that worked for me in my PR business. And accept every invitation. You know, the time I met my husband in Florida, it was an invitation I did not want to accept, but I did it anyway. And my father introduced me to my future husband. What if I had not gone? That brings me to tears just thinking about. So you never know who you're going to meet. And especially when you really don't want to go, that's when you need to go, okay, how will it benefit me to stay home? And how will it benefit me and potentially somebody else if I go? Joan Rivers, one of the leading female comedians ever, that was her policy. Walk through every open door, go to every audition, accept every invitation to perform, even if it was in a smoky nightclub that bad part of town. She accepted the invitation and she got a reputation for being available, professional, and always willing. That's what you want people to think of you. So now I have these sheets mixed up in the wrong order. Hold on. So one of the things I've decided this year, my word of the year, my power word vision board has the word penetrate on it. I recommend each of you decide to penetrate your local market to be the go-to gal or guy for LifeWave in the DMV, in my case, in Baltimore in Nancy's case, in Charlottesville and Barb. The only way you're going to penetrate that market if you set it as an intention and just say, I own this place. This town is my oyster. I am going to be the one everybody recognizes when they think of LifeWave, when they see it on Facebook, when they see it in TikTok, they're going to remember that I do this. They're going to call me. I met a gal yesterday at the vendor fair. She says, I saw about this on TikTok. I was confused. I'm so glad you're here. I want to know more. So I invited her to Leah's Zoom on Wednesday night. She's going to learn more from somebody local, somebody she trusts. Everybody wants to do business with their local distributor. Mary Gwynn found me that way. She went to her chiropractor. She said, I saw Michael Jaco talking about this on YouTube. I want it, but I want a local distributor. I don't want to deal with this guy that I don't know. I don't know how good he'll be. I don't know if he'll give me any attention. He's a big influencer. I want the local person. Luckily, I had met with that chiropractor twice and he didn't want to do the business. He referred Mary Gwynn to me and she's now a manager on my team and she's sponsoring people right and left, loves the business, sings the praises of the patches at our live events. Last time she told her testimony and brought the house down. She was really, really popular. Everybody's been calling me for Mary Gwynn's number since that event. What if I didn't own this market? What if that chiropractor hadn't met me twice? Okay, so the next thing is to get organized. Have a system for following up with your prospects. I had a talk with Michelle yesterday about Project Broadcast. I helped Nancy yesterday set up Project Broadcast. The thing about it is we want to use the tools that our upline is using. If we decide to go our own way and use a different text blaster, nobody's going to know how to train you to do it. Nobody's going to help you when you run into a technical issue. Nobody's going to be able to help your downline with it when you're unavailable. So even though there might be other great tools out there, let's keep it simple. Let's use what the upline is using until Stacy, Leah, and Laura say, we've got to go somewhere else. We've got to migrate our Project Broadcast list over to this other thingamajig. Okay. Keep a notebook or use a free tool like Trello.com to manage your pipeline. I like Trello because it's dynamic. It's on the cloud. It's free. I can move somebody from an initial call column to gave samples to column to an invite a live event column just by clicking and dragging. And then I can flag them as a new brand partner and move him to the members column. Um, it's fantastic, but not everybody can do that or wants to do that. So our upline recommends getting a nice notebook, making your prospect list in the notebook. If you want, put the person's name, their phone number, their email on one line, and leave about 7 lines for your contact record. The other reason I like Trello is every time I contact them, it's a separate little entry, and then I can see how many times did I have to contact them before they bought. That's very helpful to know. It lets you know not to quit after 2 times. If most of the people that you actually sold, you had to do 7 touches before they bought. Um, let's see. I use Gmail to set up my group email list. I have several group email lists, new LifeWave members, business builders, personally enrolled list. Um, that's pretty much what I have in groups so that I can target different messages to different groups of people. Like my business builders has my personal's business builders on it. Not all of them though. So your newest business builder, you must get them on my list or you need to forward the invitation to them to our Zooms. And once they've come a couple of times, I make sure and add them to my list in case you're out of pocket or unavailable to forward it on. I don't want anybody left out. The other thing is adding them to our Facebook group, Blast Off with Rocket. That's very important to do because we put reminders up there. We put good videos that we find from other teams that are useful, that could be shared or could be helpful to training you. We also put the word out there on promotions, product launches, things like that, and also new members that join our team. So I really recommend making a plan to reinvest at least a percentage of you make in tools to help you grow your business. I actually set my business up separately. I have a separate checking account for it. You can do it either as a sole proprietor, which would be a checking account that would say, Dr. Bruno Mazzali doing business as LifeWave brand partner or something like that. An LLC requires that you get an attorney or legal Zoom, whatever, to draft up the LLC papers and you file them with the State Corporation Expense Commission. There's an expense to that, but the benefit is you can set up a business account at the bank, which helps you build business credit. It might help you with borrowing in the future. Who knows? But that's what I have done because Keith and I have other businesses that I need to protect from any liability of a mistake I make with LifeWave to come back on other things that we're doing, such as the real estate we own, our houses, whatever. Then the next thing is be persistent, be consistent, set goals, and inspire your team with confidence in themselves. Let your team know that you believe in them, compliment them on their strengths, correct them when they're doing something that might get them in trouble with the upline or with the company. If you know the policies and procedures, you can warn people about you can't buy a bulk mailing list and start blasting the world about LifeWave. You could lose your LifeWave business account. The company would actually take you out of the business for something like that. So the policies and procedures are 40 pages. I do recommend everybody print it out, put it on the bedside table, review it, highlight things that are warning signs, things not to do. Call your upline if you have any questions. It's pretty straightforward. And the higher you go in the organization, the more competent you should get at alerting people of you need to check the marketing section of the policies and procedures. You need to check the legal section. You need to remind them periodically. Then the other thing is we need you to spend time in your back office. Weekly, you should be checking, am I paid as rank? Are my people paid as rank? Who placed an order in the last 7 days? Are there big orders coming in way down line for me? The other day I noticed Pastor Jacques had sold a premium kit or somebody in his downline had sold a premium kit. That's amazing. That's helpful information. When I reach out to him, I can say, hey, I saw you made a super big sale. That's so great. Let me know if you need any help with that person. Or I could give them advice about a video that might apply to that person's health problem. The other thing is you can make sure that in your back office what your cycling is and where you need to place your next brand partner, which leg they go on. And if you need help with that, you can do a one-to-one with your sponsor, and they will get you more acquainted with that back office and what things to look at every week. But I recommend going in there at least 3 times a week. Like Dr. Bruno and I went into his back office today. He found out he was up for renewal in June 19th. I thought he had joined in November, but November, I realize now, is when he did an upgrade to the premium kit. So I was wrong about the date, and if we hadn't checked today, he might have lost all his points and his position on the binary tree. That's another thing. Anybody that's got a large organization, you need to be checking your annual enrollment list, not only for the people you've enrolled, but for anybody on your team that's relatively inactive, that's not checking their back office. You need to make sure that you remind them to call those people or ask permission for you to contact those people, because the company sends emails to people, but people are not opening them, especially if they're just a client or a customer. So with all that said, if you do these things as you're able to, as you're comfortable, as you implement them, it's kind of like building a recipe. Every month, fold in a new activity that you're supposed to be doing. Don't worry about doing all this the first month. You don't need to do all this the first month, but you know what you need to do first. You can tell from this list of items. But you want to eventually become the role model for business building that your team will follow. And when your team starts doing what you're doing, that's when you have a business going. That's when you're 4 levels, 5 levels deep, and you find a Susan Grizzard who's setting the world on fire. That is duplication in action. And duplicating your time and energy is what this business is about. That's why it's such a good financial opportunity, because you're leveraging your time and effort with the leverage by hundreds of other people soon, thousands of other people eventually. You know, Marcy Preble probably has over 100,000 active distributors doing work. She gets a little piece of all that action. That adds up to a big bank account. So, one book that we've read says that when you're 4 levels deep under each personally enrolled person, you will find the momentum and the motivated business partners to propel you to the next rank. So, any questions on that? Project broadcast. Okay, we're gonna show you a team tool that I'm introducing today, Eileen. But I think I was talking about project broadcast, which is a text and email blaster that once you put your prospects in there, once you upload the spreadsheet from your back office of all your personally enrolled in there, within 2 minutes you can contact all of them fast. You can even put a little picture. Like yesterday, I sent out 235 texts for the vendor fair. At Nancy's urging, she says, Kim, it's never too late. It was starting in 2 hours, you guys. I sent it out within 2 minutes. I even uploaded a picture of me behind a booth saying, come see us in booth 8. We're going to be there at this fair. A girl that had been on my list for 2 years that I'd never met drove all the way from Falls Church to College Park to come to the booth to tell me, I'm moving to Japan. I'm looking at LifeWave because I can do this business on the military base, so we'll be stationed. She goes, my business here, she has a crystal shop. She sells crystals. My daughter's taking care of that, but I don't want nothing to do on the base. I recruited a distributor in Japan, you all, just by that project broadcast. So if you're not using it yet, I will help you start using it. We can get on Zoom. I can walk you through how to set it up. You can do it on your desktop computer or on your phone. Desktop computer is best for uploading lists, but it's amazing. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to show you now, share screen, and show you, let's see, the master tracker. Okay, so I learned something showing this to Upline. They said make it bigger, so I'm going to zoom it. Wait a minute, how do I? I'm going to make it 200% bigger. There we go. Okay, so I made some adjustments to this. This is based on my friend that sells insurance and what she does with her team. The idea is that our upline teaches us to do 3 initial calls a day, or patch 3 people a day, they call it, 3 follow-up calls with people you've already patched or talked to about the patches, and 3 invites to Zoom. If we do that daily, that is 21. See this 21 at the total goal column here? Down in the orange, I have goal, and I have 21 initial calls. That would be 3 a day. Now, you're not necessarily going to do 3 every day. You might do 9. Yesterday, because I met 9 new people and I brought 9 contacts home from the vendor fair. Okay. I had 9 initial calls. That's why doing vendor fairs is so huge. You can knock out 3 days of work in one day. Now, it took a full day to get those 9 people, but 9 people I wouldn't have had otherwise. So, let's just put some numbers in here. Let's say I do 1 initial call Monday. Tuesday, I have more time and I get to 4. Wednesday, I do 1. Thursday, I do 6. Do you see how this percentage success ratio changes? Now I'm up to 57%. So I know I've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday left to go. I've only got 12 out of my 21. Let's say Friday, I just say all day, I'm going to call brand new people. I'm going to go into my cell phone. I'm going to text people over Facebook, whatever form it takes. Let's say I do 10. You know, when I was in sales, when Nancy and I were in sales, when we were in our 20s, I could make 10 initial calls an hour, most of which were no answer or left messages. I'm talking about only calling the people you actually connect with, either by a text message or on the phone that you actually talk to. Please don't count left messages. Please don't leave messages. Just call them back. Sometimes you'll get calls back with people that wonder why you called and why you didn't leave a message. That's a really good strategy. So now I'm up to 22. So I've done 105% of my goal for the week. So now Saturday and Sunday, I can take off. I can have a Sabbath rest. I can be with my husband. I can say, Keith, we've got to go on a hike at Great Falls. I need some outside time and I need some husband time and I need some exercise. So see how that works? Now, follow-up calls, it's the same thing. You shoot for 3 a day, which is much easier to do once you have a big pipeline of people. Once your prospect booklet or your Trello board is full, these are so much easier to put on the board. So let's say we just take it easy and we do exactly what the upline suggests, which is 3 a day. I didn't mean to put 33 there. Sorry. See, we're now at 29% with just 2 days worth of work. See how the percentage increasing is encouraging? Now I'm at 43%. And the week's not even half over. Now I'm at 57% on Thursday. So Thursday is hump day. So I hope I'm not belaboring this, but you see what I mean. So then networking events, I've set a more modest goal because at a networking event, I'm sharing my elevator pitch with 30 people, 40 people, or 8 people at a round table where everybody gets to share. So if I go to 2 networking events a week, that's going to put a lot of people in my pipeline that'll give me opportunity to do the initial calls and then the follow-up calls. So see, these networking events feed the first 3 things. And this is a change I made to this spreadsheet. I put the first 3 important things first on the spreadsheet. Initial calls, follow-up calls, invites to Zoom. Those are the more aggressive business building numbers that we're trying to hit, the 21, 21, 21. Then vendor pop-up live events. This is the vendor event like we did yesterday at Pathways. This is a pop-up at my local gym. I belong to 2 gyms. I'm going to ask both of the managers if I can, for free, just set up a bar stool and my banner and talk to people about LifeWave, handing out business cards for 2 or 3 hours. That's considered a pop-up. You might be able to get a local beauty salon or a local massage spa to let you do that. And then as you're talking to the people, the manager of the club or the owner of the spa may take an interest in LifeWave. They may decide to become part of your distributorship, set up their own distributorship. And then a live event is like what I'm doing next week in Fairfax. I'm doing a presentation before all of the prospects that my team brings and Carolyn's team brings. So I'm counting that as a live event. You can count live event attendance even if you just go as an attendee. Even if you don't bring somebody, you can go to the live event and count that as getting out of your house, getting around people, learning a few more testimonies you didn't know. All the people that learned about Mary Gwynn's fabulous success story, they now have something to share with their initial calls and in their networking opportunities. So you see, it doesn't take much to make these two columns here really enhance your business. Then LifeWave training, I've set a modest goal myself. You can change these goals any way you want. These goals are not baked into this chart. You could change your LifeWave training if you're brand new. Let's say you want to do 4 meetings a week, 4 training meetings. You've got Marcy's meeting, Stacy's meeting, Leah's meeting, Kimberly's meeting, Peter Knows meeting to choose from. You could even go way cross line. You might find out something that Robin Mascari is doing. She's way upline from Marcy. So I set a modest goal of 2 because I'm a mature person in the business and I do a lot of training, but it's very important for me to also do the basics over and over again so I make sure I don't get off track. Number of enrollments was added by Leah to this, but believe it or not, this is not a business building activity per se, but some people wanted to track that. You could set, I think I've made these dollar, let me see, the format of this cell is a number. So, but you could also change it to currency and you could put the dollar amount of your sale. So you could put, you could change the cell formatting by right clicking on it. You get this menu and you go all the way down to format cells and you could change it to text and you could type in there core kit, whatever you want to track, right? Anyway, then I have 3 columns that are personal goals. I have a personal goal that you'll see in a minute to contact friends that aren't in the business, that have no interest in the business, maybe people that have rejected me, and I'm still sort of sore about that. I don't want that to cause a rift in the friendship, and I just want to keep in touch and know how their life is going and just share what's going on with me other than business. Personal goal 2, for me, it's BNI CEUs. It could be BNI cross chapter visits. I try to do an extra one of those every week. I have personal goal number 3 is time with my husband. My goal is a modest goal of 5 hours a week. That's all he gets right now. And I've told him my business is the priority. So someday neither one of us will have to work so hard, right? So any questions about that before I show you what my last week looked like? Because I want to show you how it actually helped me so much to do this. Any questions, comments? Nancy Cook, go ahead.
I have a little comment. Under follow-up calls, it's also I find a great way to follow up with people. Ultimately, you do want to connect with them, but since we're going to be touching them quite a bit, if that intimidates you, you can always send a voice clip where they hear your warm voice. You can also send a testimonial, that's specific to them. You can send the recording of the podcast, the patching podcast that you invited them to. You can do a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be specifically a call. Is that right, Kim?
Yes, follow up with 3 people is actually, and I could take the word calls off the list so nobody's
Or
confused.
add things like give people ideas, calls, um, testimonials,
Okay.
recordings. It could be to kind of give them some food for thought. Ramona?
Calls, emails, texts.
Well, voice clips too are huge.
Well,
And
I'm including that in text.
okay,
Not everybody has that. Just a voice clip is a form of a text, but I'll add that if you'd like. Okay.
they're so wonderful.
Voice clip. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to let's see. I want to put pull up. Okay, so this is Kimberly's week last week, just to give you an idea. Data, review, view. How do I zoom it? Here I go. Zoom 200%. All righty. So Kimberly made two initial calls on Monday. Tuesday was flat out, I think, busy working with other people, what have you. Oh, I had a podcast that I attended Tuesday night, but I must have been doing stuff for other people. Um, Wednesday I did one call. Thursday I did one call. Friday I did five initial calls because I got five people interested in my patches at a networking event. And then Sunday, I got the nine people. So that was 86% toward my goal for the week. I didn't hit 21, I hit 18. But 86% for me is very good. That was a really good week with initial calls because this has been a weak area for me lately. Follow-up calls, I actually got 23 in my case, I'm counting follow-up calls to new people like Lisa Thompson or Jacqueline Frost. When they call me with a question, I'm counting that as a follow-up call for me because it's valuable time I'm spending with a new person. So these follow-up calls don't necessarily, for once you've ranked, they don't necessarily have to be with prospects. They can be with new members of the team or even somebody like Nancy when she needed help with Project Broadcast. I can count that as a follow-up call because we actually worked on her business together. So I did 110% when the follow with the follow-up calls. Networking events, I did two. That's 100%. Invites to do Zoom, I only got 13 done, but that's 62% of the goal. I still feel really good about that, you guys, but I know this is an area I could focus on more. I could spend more time. This is the other thing my insurance friend said. She said every Sunday night she has her team do time blocking on their calendar. And that is they put a certain hour of each day of the week and what they're going to do with that time. And maybe they're blocking more than 1 hour, obviously, a day. They're blocking all 8 hours a day. They're blocking their one-to-one meetings with people. They're blocking their phone calls to follow up or prospect. They're blocking their networking events. So Sunday night, she has them map out the whole week. Their whole calendar is full of time blocks. Um, LifeWave training, I got on two last week. Dr. Stacy's and Leah's Tuesday morning meeting. Podcasts, I got on two. I think I got on Monday night and Tuesday night, and I think I missed Thursday night. Vendor pop-up events, Thursday. What was the pop-up event on Thursday? I think this might have been a live event. There must have been a live event Thursday, and I'm forgetting what it was. And then Sunday was the Pathways vendor event that I did with Michelle and Nancy. Social calls and Lynn. Social calls to friends. I actually got three, which is 300% of my goal. Look how how little I'm spending on friendships. That's pathetic. I need to up that goal now that I actually could actually make three phone calls last week. I called a friend yesterday who's a recent widow, and she gave me a voice clip back about her and her son going to the movies. Um, this is really good. This means I can set a bigger goal for next week. The BNI CEUs, I got 67% of my goal. I did, well, it looks like I did 3 hours, but that's wrong. So something's wrong with this formula still. I did two BNI CEUs. And oh, the goal was three. Yeah, this is right. I'm sorry. I thought that was the total number. The total number I did was two in the green. The goal was 3 hours. So I did 67% of my goal. I think BNI only wants me doing 1 hour a week, but I'm trying to get my number one in the chapter rank back because right now I'm number two in my chapter, and that's very disturbing to me. So 67% is still really good as far as what BNI is concerned. Then I got only 2 hours with my husband. I don't really count dinner time. It's the extra hour we spend on the boat or talking in the living room about our week. So that's obviously a weakness. He's very forgiving and he has a lot of things on his plate. He runs several businesses and he works 7 days a week. So it's not just me that's at fault there. I got one enrollment And I put one new person on auto ship. So I did add two other columns there for me to track. And then the other thing I did on the new tracker that I sent you, which is not this one apparently, I actually was getting confused. After I started putting numbers, I was getting confused. Did I put that number in or not? So I actually made these same columns down here, and I'm going to start listing names. Like for each of these numbers, I'm going to have Joe, Sally. For this number four, I'm going to have Joe, Sally, Lisa, Nancy are the calls I made. So that I'm going to have all these names down below each of these columns, just so I make sure I don't log the same number twice. Does that make sense? Um, did anybody else try to use the tracker last week? And it's okay if you didn't, but if anybody else has a comment or question or found this difficult or they don't want to do it.
I'll add, I did try to use it to the best of my ability, although I had a little crazy week last week. But it really instantly identifies where you might want to focus a little bit more effort, because we tend to go to and do the things that tend to be easier. And I like that. So I kind of build up my momentum with that. And then I might shift gears to do follow up, so I love to kind of invite people and reach out and whatnot. But I love your idea, Kim, because it helps keep my brain organized, listing so that you're not going, what did I do last week? You can actually keep that as a record of who you're working with, kind of as a little mini Trello board, so to speak, and what you're doing with different folks. So I loved that idea as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was an interesting exercise in what I'm actually, getting accomplished every day.
Right, right. It's true. And you might find that the thing you think is so easy, you're spending, 400%. You're 400% of the goal that the upline's suggesting. And if that keeps happening week after week, we need to have you time block differently so that you can be more proficient in these other business building activities. On Saturday on the training, they really emphasized becoming an expert at the things that these kinds of businesses require. And one of the things I love that was shared, you need to be best at approaching and inviting. Those are the two things that you need to be best at. If you're shy, if you're afraid, if you think people will think you're pushy, you need to work on that because the approach, you have to get comfortable in your style with your personality you have to approach people in a way that you feel good about. It may not be the way Carolyn or me or Bruno does it, um, but when you master the approach, then you're going to feel comfortable moving on to inviting, following up the initial conversation with an invitation to learn more. If they say no, that's no skin off your teeth. You're just being hospitable, gracious, and wanting to share something that you think is really cool. That's all. I'm not trying to even sell them. If
Good
they don't
point.
sell themselves on this, they're not for you anyway. You want to give them enough education that they sell themselves on either being in the business or using the patches or getting their mother-in-law on the patches or their lovely husband on the patches. And they'll make that decision when you educate them enough, right? Go ahead, Nance.
I'm a huge believer in leveraging our fantastic upline. If you all don't feel comfortable, talking to people one-on-one, and one of my suggestions was to add another column for one-on-one, because that's another kind of natural thing. If you find people are just too busy to jump on the podcast, Eileen is excelling at this. She's, walking into, chiropractors and introducing herself. And I mean, it's just, blowing things up in that way. So that would be another strong business building activity. Um, but I do think it's important to invest in your business. And when you're talking about these are skills that we're developing you all to become the leaders that we need to be to rank up. So might not be strong in certain areas, but that's why I think training is so important. Peter No, who I really like a lot, says, hey, give me literally kind of 9 hours a week, and three of those are in training. Three of those, it's important to plug in, especially when you start inviting people to podcasts. It's such an easy follow-up when you invite someone to a podcast to follow up with that and say, hey, were you able to jump on last night? It was recorded. Would you like me to send you the recording? I can't tell you how many people respond and say, yes, I would love that. I was busy last night. So you get a lot of activity going back and forth just by strategically sending out and being consistent with those patching podcasts. We've got these experts who are sharing the business, and we don't have to do anything but just get people in front of them.
Absolutely. That's the best point, Nancy, is to utilize the system that's in place. And, you know, these are people that, there's a gal up line of us or cross line of us that she just decided in order to win this one incentive trip, all she would sell are premium kits. And then she went out and did that. There's another gal that is sponsored by Trent Hallwiger, Stacy's son, that she didn't know how she was going to pay her rent. So only thing she would sell brand new premium kits because she made up her mind. Jan Rogers out in Colorado, she only likes to sell premium kits because she wants people on this for a year and to look at it as a long haul proposition. And she's real comfortable in that zone. And we can benefit by being around these people and having them help us sign people up. Because we might not be comfortable asking somebody to make that big a purchase. But guess what? There's the people on our team that they do it all day long and it's no big deal. And they're able to sell the benefits or share the benefits, educate them about the benefits.
I
So,
need to work on that more, Kimberly, like you just said, because I keep going back to listening to all, that you guys and the top leaders talk about when you pull that pricing sheet out. So if we're at that point, where they're interested, I think sometimes I get shy and go, oh, okay, I'm trying to like just sell them the core package and kind of convincing them to do that. And you're
mhm.
right, like you've said it too, where you pull it out and you say, okay, we have three options here. We have, the good, better, and best. And when you say it like that, then people are like, oh, and the good is the core, but the best is the premium. And it's been good for me to try to start
Mhm.
talking that language because I'm always like, oh no, let me just not get them off the starter kit and just get them to a core. And the more I'm getting comfortable, the more I'm saying, oh, well, are you and your husband going to be patching? Let's talk about the premium. So you make a really, really good point there with that. And Nancy, I agree too on everything you were saying about utilizing the people that do these Zooms every week. I mean, it's kind of just say, hey, I'd love for you to jump on and listen to these other people. So we have so many third-party validations and so many third-party options. We have so many things out there to
Mhm.
offer. But I wanted real quick, Kimberly, before we closed on this meeting, I just wanted to tell you that I love everything that you've done on the Excel information. And even though I'm not kind of an Excel person, just because I'd been out of the corporate world for 10 years, helping my husband and raise family and taking care of sick family. So that now coming back in at 55, I really wasn't trained on so much of that. So it's a little bit intimidating, but it also is just time consuming. And I'm just trying to talk as much as I can. But what I've done for those where that is a little intimidating for them to, do the spreadsheets, I've, taken pictures of what you've done and I'm just using it, like in my notebook, I'm just writing the information down and tracking it. So the concept is track it wherever you feel comfortable. So it's not taking so much of your time, but your tracking is awesome because yes, it does show what we're doing. And Nancy, I agree with you too. I'm trying to like
Mhm.
figure out how much am I following up? How much am I reaching out? How much am I inviting? And just having a good feel for how much we're doing. So all of this is extremely valuable information. So kudos, and you're so organized, Kimberly, and you're so talented with all that stuff. So thank you for everything you do for our team. Awesome.
Well, I need to be organized because I'm not organized. And so these tools are going to get me in the zone with that rhythm. I want that rhythm that Nancy talked about is if you do that initial call and then you invite and then you follow up and then you do, and then it all just sort of flows. And you know what? The numbers will flow onto that spreadsheet
Mhm.
so effortlessly because
Yeah.
I'll be doing all the right things naturally. It'll be habit. You know what I'm saying? So I challenge everybody in this call to just try it, either print it out
Mhm.
on paper and do little tally marks when you do your work, or have it on your screen while you're making your phone calls. And when you hang up from the phone call, change the number on the chart, you know, just
Mhm.
try it. And you might
Mhm.
end up thinking it's the best thing since sliced bread. And if you don't,
Mhm.
it won't hurt my feelings at all. But at least make your people know that it's available and that Kimberly's this video call today can help introduce it to them. You can just
Yeah.
send this video and let them decide for themselves if they want to have a tracking tool like this. Eileen, go ahead, hon. I know some
Yeah. So,
drop off and it's totally fine if you do, but I'll take questions as long as they're questions.
okay. So, two things is I need videos maybe of other people or value. You know how when you're sales, you kind of break down the money piece, 295. Well, you're spending blank amount of money on coffee or this or that. The sale tactic piece, I don't think like that. I'm not a salesperson. I can become a salesperson. However, if there is somebody who already thinks like that and in that realm could lay out like, hey, 295, what do you spend? Not that you're trying to get to talk about people's finances, but I think it's a valuable concept when you break it down to, okay, 295, how much is that in 30 days you're spending? And then what are you looking at on your daily day? Are you going to Starbucks and spending $7 a day on a coffee? That's a way to sales way to say, where are you placing your value on coffee or on your health? And that part of it, I know that that's there, but it's a matter of sitting down and doing that to be able to speak it out to somebody else. That's number one. Number two is Leah hopped on the call last night and did the call where we were inviting people, and she was bringing out things about doctor in Arizona who has a protocol for glutathione, eon, and ice wave, and sent me a picture. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know where the book is, but that would be an awesome piece, a strategic piece to be able to give to people. So she gave it to one of the people that were on the call, and information about that specific doctor who is in Arizona, and it rolling off of her tongue as if it's like, this is my best friend. This is somebody that I know that's in the company that da 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 da. And I know that's a part of being on the calls and hearing it multiple times. Then you know it's a fact and you get to gravitate towards it. However, my thought was, I'm going to take the replay, study it, and know those couple facts to be able to say to other people. Because I think sometimes it's lack of information or knowledge that prevents you from being able to say or have the confidence to say, this is why the patch works. For those of us that are new, I'm under a year. So I'm looking at like it's so new, and then I'm speed dialing on. Maybe I may have gone through, I didn't track anything, but I probably hit at least 80 people that I reached out to. One person showed up, 80 people. I'm like, this is crazy. One person, but several people said, hey, I tried to get on, couldn't access the app, didn't know how to do it. And even the one, two people that did come on, my mom and I had to show them, this is how you open the app. This is how you send join. This is how you put an ID number in to be able to get on a call. And it took about an hour of my time.
Well, we need to send the clickable URL so that they don't have to go on the app because anybody, even without a Zoom account, can click on that clickable URL. So maybe Nancy can help get you hooked up with
Yeah, we just had the meme.
a list. Yeah,
Yeah.
the meme is insufficient, and I keep the clickable URLs in the notes on my phone for everybody's Zoom room, and that way I can copy and paste it. But don't feel bad. You know, I only had one out of 235 show up at the festival yesterday. But guess what? She might bring my business to Japan to a whole military base. I might be flying over there doing presentations
Mm.
with a
And
Japanese translator.
currently, I'm just like I'm also building something that's a strength training resilience program for an autistic child that I'm doing one-on-one for this summer, and it might launch into something else. So it's like this multiple, and my mom fell in the garden April 29th. So it's a multiple layered piece that I'm like, I'm doing it. It's slow, but you know when your mind is going in that zip mode where you're just like zzz, 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 and you're going, and you're like, okay, come back down. Like I had to wear a silent night last night before I went to bed because I was like, I'm not able to get off my roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
I need to get off my roller coaster ride. There's only so much a person can do in a day. So
And
That's
give
right.
yourself some grace because y'all, look at how few people are on this call today. Y'all, we are doing it. We're making things happen. We're moving forward. It is going to happen as long as you keep taking baby steps. And that's why this tracker is so awesome. And I also wanted to share if anyone wants to plug in to Leah's Zoom that we're doing for the pathways people that we met. So we promoted our own Zoom for Wednesday at 7. Eileen, go back and do a voice clip or try to call those 80 people.
I
And
did. This
yeah,
morning I worked on it while I was on the phone, a phone call with a friend
but
that
I'll
was
send you my
struggling.
meme. Give them another opportunity. Well, you're going to have yours as well. So
Yes. Yep.
it's nice to give them choices.
And
Yes.
glad you brought that up, Nancy, because people can book their own meeting with Leah between now and Sunday. And if you get three people on there, it could be a very intimate meeting, just you and three of your prospects or family members. You will get a free sleeve of X39. You could do it in tandem with your downline. Ramona, your face just popped up. Maybe you and Sharia would like to book that with Leah. You use her Calendly. If you don't have it, I can send it to you. I also keep her Calendly and Dr. Stacy's Calendly in my notes on my phone so I can book time with them. Um, she's doing a meeting for the Pathways prospects, but you can do your own if 7 o'clock Wednesday is not good for you. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions? So, one thing I didn't mention about this tracker is that I'm encouraging everybody to pick a mentor or a partner, either crossline or upline, to share your tracker results with once a week. It's a very private, confidential relationship. I will do it with anybody that wants me as their mentor or confidant. But the idea is that you have that accountability piece that not only are you looking at your results, but you're sharing it with your contemporary that's also doing her results to you. So it's a mutual sharing of your tracking results. Or if you want it to be a one-way sharing, if you want to pick a different person to share, if you'll look at Nancy's, but then you want Kimberly to look at yours, that's okay too. But the idea is at the bottom of the thing, there's a submitted to my mentor field where you put the date you submitted it to the mentor. I suggest Sunday because that's the end of the week, or Monday, actually Monday, the beginning of the week, and the end of the last week was Sunday night because you might be making follow-ups in other time zones up until midnight. Who knows?
And I
So
think it's important to have, Ramona's got her hand up, but I just want to add on to that. It's so important to have fun doing this, y'all. Don't stress out, have fun. That's got to be the number one thing. And when you have an accountability partner, share the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to all learn from each other. And just have fun doing it and succeeding and growing and sharpening our skills.
good point, Nance. Eileen, does that mean
Ramona.
you're saying goodbye? Thank you for coming. Ramona, go ahead.
Yeah, I just let's see. Am I muted? I have to stop and look.
We hear you.
Good. Yeah, okay. I just want to say what a blessing. Yeah, every time I get on these calls with you and Kimberly, you're such an outstanding leader and contributor, and Nancy, you offer so much, and I love seeing Susan's growth with everything, and I miss you all. But I just want to say thank you, thank you. The resources are excellent, and I've printed them all out, and um, it gets me back in my Excel spreadsheet days to do all of this, but I just want to say thank you. You're all such a blessing, and thank you. And I loved your personal goals that you shared. That was fun. You know, for those of us who are single, it kind of is like, oh, you know, Lord, it would be fun to have somebody to be sharing this with, but it's fun to share them with you guys too. So love you all.
You're
Love you.
welcome. Thank you for being part of the team and holding up Colorado for us. Let's grow Colorado. Let's grow.
Yeah, I did reach out to Nancy's person in Littleton, the new person, and I haven't heard back from her, and she's been on my heart and mind too. And I do have a couple I got to share with at the memorial, the celebration of life I was at on Saturday, and I'm really, you know, just anticipating that it's just been kind of a dry season, but I'm still plugging away and believing all those good seeds are going to come to harvest. So just a timing thing.
And Ramona, did you see that Andy recorded Saturday and I posted the recordings in the Facebook Messenger thread? It was
Oh
two
no, I didn't
3-hour
see that yet.
recordings.
Thank you. I will
Yeah.
look at that because yeah, I was able to watch some of it, but boy, it was a lot to learn. Let me just put it that way, a lot to learn, but I believe it's going to be. I mean, how can it be not good to go from 3 ways of earning to 9? And
Yes. The exciting part, it's so complex, you can't learn it, so don't even try. Just go out there and do the
just do
business
it. You know,
activity.
I had the same thought, but I do have a couple that signed up, but life has just gotten in the way. But they actually are intentional about doing this and set up a business name to do it as a
Good.
business. So I'm really hoping that with the new compensation plan that will just ignite them all the more to really dive in.
Absolutely. And this is a progress report. I had my new brand partner in Texas sell his old truck that he doesn't use anymore so he could invest in his little business, his little LifeWave business. So
Oh,
that's a
cool.
first. I've never had anybody sell anything of value in order to make their business get started. So,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
and that's neat.
that's really huge, you know.
Yeah.
It took
And I
4 years to have a story like that to tell, but I'm glad to share it.
Uh, well, and I have really invested major in some personal development and personal growth resources. So, you know, I just believe God's planting a lot of seeds and it's all going to be good.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for being on this morning. I'm going to end the recording now
Thank
and
you.
we'll look forward to